Creating your own equity can be both big and small changes. One of the changes I want to focus on is how to create your own equity in terms of social media and particularly Meta. At the moment, there's a significant rollback of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And what does that mean? It means that the companies doing that, the leaders are folding. There is a lack of leadership, which means that they're saying your diversity doesn't matter, your different wants, your needs, and behaviors, which is strange because actually that's how they get you to buy their products and services. They meet your problems, your wants, and your needs. They're saying that your equitable access doesn't matter. And they're also saying we don't really need to include you, which is interesting as well because the global majority, those marginalized, are employees and they are consumers, as we know. So, in regards to Meta, what does that mean in terms of the thing that I've done? I have managed to, if I look at my systems this week, only spend 4 minutes, 4 minutes on Facebook. Okay, let me go through what I did and let me go through why. Um, there are four main reasons of why for me. One is the objectification of women. Two is the lack of fact checking or saying they're not going to fact check. Three is encouraging hate speech. And four is their treatment of their employees in the latest round of layoffs, which is some of many. So when we talk about the objectification of women, the objectification of women has created a slide in terms of the violence against women, in terms of how we're treated in the workplace, in terms of what's happening throughout many countries when we think about rapes and we think about murders. So I cannot support that, nor allow that to increase and think about that impact on next generations. The lack of fact checking has meant that we have had significant slides in humanity and political influences, um, and that in itself has been a slide. We just now apparently have the Gulf of America, which is the Gulf of Mexico. But when we think about fact checking, what that means is those kind of influences create bigger shifts, which create things like the genocide, which we're seeing in Gaza, and I cannot support. Third, when you think about hate speech, that creates harm, and I really do mean harm. The people probably watching this and wanting to watch this know the harm because when we talk about mental harm, that leads to physical harms within your body. But here we're talking about marginalized populations, black, brown, female, often feminist, LGBTQIA, disabled people, neurodivergent. We're talking about harm to people. Cannot support that. And then we look at the layoffs, which were done unethically in regards to pointing to people's performance when it was nothing to do with performance, but yet again, rounds of layoffs because of shareholder prices, because we're driven by capitalism, which is another topic entirely. So rather than restructure and lay off ethically, we're coming down and using performance as a guise, which destroys the very humanity of that person undergoing that. Can't sit there and watch that either. So what can you do? Well, I kind of started with diversity, equity, inclusion, and the comical aspect of that as an employee or a consumer. That leaves you with choices of where you work, which is why we're building the equity sanctuary, but it also leaves you with choices of who you consume with. And how does Meta act and how do they make money? They make money on your engagement, your likes, you clicking on an ad, you buying something. So the less time that you spend on there, the better. The challenge probably for you, like me, is years of being on Facebook means that if, for example, I live abroad and between WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, which is a channel, so for me now it's just putting stuff out there, but no engagement in terms of giving you my money or giving Meta my money, but also my cousins, my family, my friends from pretty much all continents, not Antarctica, are on there. So it's my main mode of communication. It makes it very difficult to untangle from. But what do I do to only get that 4 minutes? When you hold down that button on Facebook and you click delete from your home screen, that means that you delete it from the distraction, particularly maybe if you're autistic ADHD like me, to go on and scroll and engage. It's still there. I get my notifications. So this week, for example, some of my cousins were contacting me, and I also had notifications of birthdays. It's my old colleague who's amazing, and I wanted to wish her happy birthday. So it reminded me, and I called her in Ibiza, and we had a good catch up, which was amazing. But what I didn't do was I didn't engage. I didn't give a company that does not give a damn about me as all of my intersectionalities. They don't care about me. So I will not give them that engagement. So my one tip for you to create your own equity is to choose what you do with Meta and to choose how you spend and you consume your money and what you give to them. And if it's so hard, like it was for me, because it is your communication channel with different groups, then delete it from your home screen. And let me know how that works. Let me know what your screen time is. For me, I've seen a dramatic improvement and I do not miss it at all. In fact, I'm putting all my creation more into not only the Humanity magazine, but more into pieces like this, because rather than scroll, I'd rather be creating a better world, creating a more equitable world, and not giving money to Meta.